Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to round number 10 of the 2016 GPVWC Super League season. We're here at virtual Hockenheim for the German Grand Prix, and well, let's just see what goes down this time, because I'm Josh Anderson. I'm going to be dragging you, kicking and screaming if I must through these laps of racing, and joining me by my side once again in the co-coms booth is none other than Mr. Kacper. Koloziejczyk. Oh God, I've got your name wrong already. It's just Kacper.
Yes.
It's just Kacper.
Yeah, just do that. That's
I tried
fine.
to pronounce your name correctly that time, Kacper, but it went drastically wrong.
That's fine. I mean, it's not that easy to say Koloziejczyk, is it?
Yeah, Koloziejczyk. I should have got that first time. Yes, regardless of the pronunciation of a certain Polish Irishman's last name, though, we are also joined on cameras by Mr. Rob Mason today.
Good evening, everyone.
Rob, of course, doing cameras very, very kindly for us. We have got just under 9 minutes of qualifying left to go in this session, and it is currently Adonis Engineering's Michael Francesconi on pole position, but he ain't on pole by much because David Fidek, the current championship leader, is 8,000ths of a second behind him. That is close, that. And Philip Pushka directly behind in P3, 0.168 behind Francesconi, therefore 0.16 behind Fidek. And thus far, the top 8 are within a second, which ain't bad.
That is very close, and as we've seen yesterday with Super Cup, it seems like this track just really is very good for close lap times and close racing. So we're just going to hope for a very good race later on.
I should add, there's only 17 people on serve at the moment. That makes that 18 actually, because Wupke Hilkstra has just joined us. So not many in this qualifying session at the moment. Perhaps people cropping over from the test server because some people do tests and races. But
as Fidek takes the pole.
Fidek goes overall pole now on a 1:17.262. Daniel Brewer responds with a 1:17.336. He's not even a 10th behind. Daniel Brewer means business.
Yeah, this Brewer has been very quick, and we've seen him in Austria taking the first podium for Kernel since Spa 2013, wasn't it?
First one in almost 3 years.
Yeah, which is, again, shows his speed and shows his confidence in the car. So he's going to be hoping to repeat his really good result from weeks ago.
Yep, indeed. We do have, obviously, people starting to file into the server with Wupke joining. There should be a couple more soon. But yeah, with 7 minutes sort of going qualifying, it's just really about keeping an eye on what goes on around this circuit here. Hockenheim, a very, very nice circuit indeed. Of course, had the big long run into the forest before it was shortened in 2002, but I don't mind the new version. I think it's a nice little track, Hockenheim.
I actually kind of like it. The new version isn't as quick, obviously, because the previous version, literally, I think it had something like 7 or 8 corners, it sometimes feels like. But here we get some really good battles. The DRS zone kind of will help with overtaking, and we're just going to have to see how it goes. It's a short enough circuit, and it's still very quick.
Yeah, I mean, it's just some statistics on the track for you, for those who are interested. 4.574 kilometers and 17 turns. We've already actually beaten the real-life Formula 1 lap record, because that's a 1:13.78. And David Fidek's done a 1:7. Well, actually, no, we haven't. Sorry.
No, we're 5 seconds off.
We're 5 seconds off. Well, there goes my concentration, doesn't it? I thought we'd actually beaten it for a minute there.
Or maybe 4 seconds. I may just be doing the maths wrong.
No, we're about 4 seconds off. About 3.5 actually. More is closer, but I thought we'd actually beaten the actual Formula 1 record. But we have, if you look at the old layout, because that's a 1:41.8.
Ah, yes.
But then again, there was 30 seconds of forest in that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've just seen a comment Twitter about the live timing. I think we're having issues with live timing.
Yeah,
it's just down.
Unfortunately, we don't have any live timing today, and we don't have any plugins. So, unfortunately, going to have to just trust us on the gaps front here. Technical problems on RaceView's end, and well, more technical problems on the end of the cameraman. But you know, full credit to Rob. He has jumped in with not much notice, so hasn't really had much time to solve this. Michael Francesconi has just gone pole position again. A 1:17.117 he does. So breaks into the 17.1s. And I'm going to throw my hat out and say we're going to see a sub-16 lap time. Well, a sub-17 lap time here, breaking into the high 16s.
It's gonna be tough. We're just seeing them being so very close. I actually doubt it. I think it's going to be very close, but we're not gonna see a 16. Also, from what I'm seeing right now, is it seems like these tires can only last for about a lap or two at the most with high pace. Right after that, everyone is spitting, so it seems to be very tough on the tires.
It can be a very tough track, this. It's not the easiest track in the world to drive, and it's the stadium section as well, which was the old section when you came in through the forest. You would be having really low downforce as well. Obviously, you got more downforce now because it's a shorter track, but before you'd have practically no downforce through there, so you'd have to take those corners a lot slower than you could.
Yeah, and it actually kind of increases the difficulty of those corners just because you're going so quickly, and any small mistake can mean life of death for the car.
I mean, see, these cars are a little bit more forgiving with them being more modern. As Francesconi just pulls into the pits now, will probably be exiting again for a last quali run. Philip Pushka has gone up to P2, so David Feidick now has even more competition in the form of the reigning Drivers' Champion. As we do have more people in now. We've got Menno Klein, Sven de Vries, Eros Mashuli all in. These people won't have as much time now to do qualifying laps, though.
Indeed, they only have about 3.5 minutes to go. So from what it looks like, they will only have about 1 lap to attempt to get a very good lap in.
Yeah, you would need 2 minutes and 40, including an out lap to do laps. So I think they're probably going to get 1 or 2 in here.
I think again, I'm just seeing everyone running 1 lap and then putting in. So I presume the tires are just not going to last.
Yeah, it'll be a case of whether they do or not, but who knows.
What's very interesting though is the top 10 at the moment is within 1 second, which is very, very close.
Yeah, that's quite. Yeah, for the top 10 to be within a second, that's pretty much equals the 10th per car, isn't it? When you think about it. Looking down through the order, we've got a couple of people who are doing quite well at the moment. Adrian Norton, one for Storm Racing in P7, Emmanuel Gaxella not far behind. Lewis Redshaw, a bit far down from where I'd personally expect him to be in P9. Tom Parker doing a good job on the green stripes in P11. And then we've got the likes of Ben Willis, Darwin Tapman, Morton Venison around the back. Fun fact for you all, if you look at Ben Willis's car, we can just go to Ben Willis in P14. He's going to kill me for pointing this out. But that number 11 in his car, he's just put himself, and it's way too small. So, yeah, bit of an embarrassment on that front.
It's still visible, but it just looks like Roman numerals 2.
Yeah, he's upped himself to number 2. He's changed himself. He's stolen the number from Hawkeye. That's what's happened. But yeah, I'm going to be personally murdered by Ben Willis for pointing that out. So this will be my last ever Super League broadcast. I kid. Anyway, 1 minute and 50 to go now in qualifying. So people will want to be exiting. Daniel Brewer does. He knows he's only going to get 1 more lap. And then we've got Fran Lopez back. Welcome back, Fran. Good to see him back for Red Archer. Obviously, we know the Spaniard very quick, so we'll be looking to get the Greek team further up the order. Of course, they have now stopped development on that car, so he's going to have a bit of a job on his hands.
Francesconi is going on a lap that's actually quite significantly quicker than his recent lap, so he may even be hitting the 16s. You may be right.
Well, I can't say sexist splits, so if he is going significantly quick, I'm going to trust you on this, Kacper. Let's keep an eye on Michael Francesconi as he rounds these last couple of corners here. Is he going to break into the 16s as I prophesied? He comes out the start-finish, crosses the start line now.
Oh,
he just misses out. 117.072. So I have to find that gap all over again now. As I can tell you now, Menno Clunt is not going to set a lap time this session, nor is Adam Maguire. Ben Willis and Tom Parker sessions are done. They cannot set another lap time. So it's all about the people who are on the track right now. And, well, it's going to be the last call for anyone who wants pole position here. And there's probably only about the top 5 who could realistically do it.
Francesconi is not going to improve.
Michael Francesconi not going to improve at this rate. So probably not going to get a pole improvement. Philip Pushka, therefore, in second, will be coming around these last couple of corners. Probably going to be his last lap, this, to be honest. I'm looking for anyone who's just starting a lap now. David Feidick's going to get 1 more lap in after this. He's coming down the start-finish straight. What lap time will David Feidick do? He doesn't improve. Daniel Brewer won't get another one in. Florian Dyer won't get another one in. Nor will Adrian Norton. As time has now elapsed, those on a lap will have to finish it. and it's looking to be David Fidek, who will be the
And
last one in these
Pushka goes pole.
Pushka goes pole and does a 16. A 1:16.96 from the Drivers' Champion. Just
Well done.
what you'd expect from him. David Fidek will be the last of any in this top 5, you'd think, to do a lap here. And while going down to McNaughton, he's 8 tenths behind, so looking less likely that the Englishman will get pole. Minogus Columbus and Emmanuel Gagzella are done, as is Francesconi, who pulls into the pit lane. And let's look at Daniel Brewer. He's probably the next closest who could here. P4 will need to gain 4 tenths on his current lap time if he's going to beat Pushka here. Round the final set, a couple corners he goes, and
Brewer's going a lot faster through that lap, so we're going to just have to wait.
There is an improvement there for. Let's see if he can get pole or he can get close as he crosses the start finish. Pole for Brewer.
Well done.
On a 16.898. And now that is a shocker. David Fidek. Let's see. You know Fidek's pulling in. Florian Guy, the next one who could, and he hasn't improved. So I can't believe I'm quite going to say this. I think he's got this. I think he's got this as Daniel Brewer. As Philip Puskett comes in.
Is this going to be a Kerno renaissance?
Kerno could be on for something really good. Yes, Sven de Vries doesn't improve. Gergo Baldi doesn't improve. I can't believe this. Daniel Brewer on pole for Kerno Sports.
That is quite impressive.
That's the upset of the season right there.
That from the first podium in nearly 3 years to pole. That is, and he could be running for a win if he can just manage the race. Well, just manage the race.
Wow. Wow. I'm in shock.
That is very impressive indeed.
I don't know what to say. I really don't. Daniel Brewer is on pole position for Kernow Sports. They've really committed. This is a comeback, if anything, isn't it?
Yeah. Wow. That is actually jaw dropping. Yeah, I've seen that the lap was quite a bit of an improvement, but it seems like he has gone even quicker in the last sector than I think anyone. It was very, very quick.
Well, I tell you what, since I've got absolutely no words whatsoever to describe the situation that has just occurred, what I'm going to do is bring someone in who will be able to talk for a bit. And that will be, as I just drag him into the booth now, Mr. Mike Pittman.
Hello, hello.
So we've just seen an absolute shocker of a qualifying where Daniel Brewer's just taken pole. Of course, we bring you into proceedings to talk about the technical side of Super League, but Philip Pushka, we'll start with just talking about Philip for a bit. Philip is second though, so great, quick qualifying.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, I know his talent. We all know his talent from last year as well. He can drive that little bit extra out of the car than we were expecting, to be honest. That's a little bit quicker than we've done at any point up to now. So he's pulled that out of the bag, considering his internet in Germany's been down the last 2 hours as well, so it was touch and go whether he'd even make this. So I'm very glad he has.
Well, yeah, I'm sure you are. I'm quite glad he's made it. And of course, well, it just proves really that Valiant engine is working.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, Adonis use it as well, as do an awful lot of teams on the grid. When you're talking engines, the only upgrade on engines this race actually is from Martex, which is the Norwegian engine that only provides them. So they've had a boost engine upgrade, so that might help them on some of the straights on here. But that's the only engine upgrade that went live this time. Car-wise, might as well get into that while I'm talking to you. Is that all right?
Oh, well, absolutely. It's the Super League technical chat. We'll talk about all things technical.
So car-wise, actually, although we can go into so much detail, when you talk about it, there's only actually 0.1 of a second between the Norwegian, the Adonis, and the Vod Bull. Even though they've all developed slightly different areas, when you talk a lap time, there's only actually that much difference, and that's same driver did that test and tested the lot in the same conditions, so 0.1 seconds. So it's pretty close, and actually very close behind them as well is Woods and Kerno. Because when we're getting to the tight end of the development tree now, and some are maxing out at 100% on certain things, weight and downforce as such. So when you get into that very top end, it's minimal gains. So that's why you can see these teams where, you know, Brewer's overdriving the Kerno, but the Kerno's not that far behind. It's technically the third most developed car on the grid. So it's not surprising that they're doing so well, but it's great to see them up there as well. Green Stripes even have brought some updates to this one, whereas you'd expect some of those teams at the back not to be particularly developing the car anymore. You know, most start saving for the next year when they've decided to almost write off this one. Whether having different lineup in the car now means that they can develop the car and decided to, but they brought some downforce to this race, whereas the opposite, where Storm seemed to have stopped developing. So as we saw Gexella in previous races right up there, it might not be the case now. Just a little one on Clont and Maguire, they didn't qualify because they both got back of the grid penalties. Just a look.
Yeah. I'll tell you what might have helped out in the case of, I'm just looking at the development page, which you can all access on the GPVWC site, so you can have all this technical information for yourself. It's a great little asset to have, so you know exactly who is where in the technical world. Yeah, as you say, the Kernow, despite being on 612 points, the Vodbull 769, isn't that far behind.
No, and when you're talking the areas that development as well, you know, they've got 84% weight. You're suddenly talking, they're all in the 80s on all the downforce and the body drag and stuff, which is all the same sort of domain. You're talking Adonis and Norgin and us are up in the high 90s, so it's not a big difference when you're talking that level on lap time. I think the biggest difference for this whole race is actually going to be who can last these tyres, because that front left is a killer. I've had some drivers telling me they're going to 2-stop, some are going to say they're 5-stopping. So you could see two very different races potentially opening up, but should come together very nicely towards the end.
And of course, your chassis upgrades are going to help with that, and things relating to that, like wings and downforce, they might help with your tyres or hinder your tyres in certain respects. I'll tell you what, though, we're talking about the straights and Norgin's engine boost settings. How important do you think that's going to be? Because there are some long straights, yeah, but there's also the stadium section.
The engine's a very awkward one because, yes, they have got a higher boost, and they've actually both got two brand new engines in that Norgin in this race as well. Whereas Adonis have got one new one in first car, whereas Francione has got a used one. Pushka has a new engine as well, so that makes a slight difference. But whereas you look at the Valiant, has more brake horsepower, so although the boost is less high, it's got more grunt to start with. So you might find, yes, on certain areas of the track, they vary massively. The DRS will make a big difference as well, though, on the big straights here, so it should. I still think, obviously slightly biased, that the Valiant has the edge, but the race will show.
Well, I will tell you this. What makes Brewer's pole even more interesting is that he does run that potential engine in the car, and they are focused on mapping and fuel consumption. That's boost and fuel consumption they've really more focused on with the development of that. Development of that engine. Now, of course, technically produced by Wouters Automotive since Midnight Motorsport have left the series. But what makes it more impressive is that Brewer has achieved that pole lap with an engine unit that is actually already seen. If I just look on the Kernow page here, it's actually already seen 70%, 30% usage. It's on 69% way left.
Isn't he car 1?
No, he's Brewer's car number 83, so that means he's on 69%.
Oh, is he? Right. Sorry, apologies, yeah. Yeah, so it's already seen probably two races.
It's the other car, which is DeVos's car, that is on 100%.
Yeah, so it's seen two races already. So, I mean, the thing with theirs is that actually, because they haven't improved the brake horsepower, that's the bit that wears rather than the boost. So their boost will still be as they wanted, whereas they will have effectively a negative engine brake horsepower from the base car. Effectively.
Wow.
Any used engine potential or Trinity ends up with a negative.
Because they haven't upgraded the base power, and that, like, as an engine developer yourself, you know, it's a question of, do you want to improve the boost or do you want to improve the power? Because base power gives you an advantage everywhere, whereas boost only gives you an advantage where you're using it. So
yeah, we did a lot of development before the season. Just purely looking at lap time over a straight or over one, boost does give you more of a time gain, but it does use more fuel. So you have to develop two areas to get the same, or to get a better better time gain. Whereas developing one area, brake horsepower, it's cheaper to do from an R&D point of view. Doesn't gain quite as much, but you can do more of the development. So we factored in that was the better way of doing it. Other developers have gone the opposite way. It's interesting that there's two, Martex and Valiant, going one route and potentially Trinity went the other, which makes it very interesting to look at, and it'd be very interesting to see if people change things for next year.
Yeah, it will be. And, with all the different aspects of Super League, with the engines, the chassis, the development, it really does make for a fantastic little aspect, something that probably no other sim racing league has, because it really is what makes Super League, the development side of things. And it's good sometimes to take a step back and look at all the technical side of things, which is what makes it what it is.
Absolutely. There's nothing like this out there. This is what keeps me involved, keeps us in the game. It's what, makes it a proper team effort rather than just a driver who gets a car and goes for it. It's so much testing, so much work behind the scenes. And all this is such minimal gains as well. So it still gives us really close racing up and down the grid, even though we're talking, a few hundred development points difference in some cases.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down at the end of the day. And I would like to thank you, Mr. Mike Pittman, for joining us and having this talk with us about the development side of Super League. I think we're going to make this a regular feature. We've had it over the last 2 episodes of Super League, and I think it's worth keeping, definitely. So if obviously it pleases you, we'll keep you going for the rest of the season, make this a regular feature. But once again, thanks for joining us.
No worries. Have a good race, and I look forward to it.
Yeah, we all do. And well, once again, thank you to Mike for joining us and taking the time to have a chat about Super League with us. It's a lot more complex than you think, but when you actually sit down and listen to it, Kacper, doesn't it all seem a lot more interesting?
Yeah, it kind of creates this thing in this series where you actually have something to kind of follow as well as just the drivers. So it's very much like Formula One, where you have to worry about who's going to have the most gains and seeing not just about the engine wear, for example. You also have to worry about someone having far more races on one engine already and maybe having less power and being at a disadvantage, like Brewer is in here. So it's even more impressive how fast he made that Carno go in qualifying.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a case of just what you do when you do it. And as mentioned before, it does provide close racing, even when it's a couple of hundred development points in it. So, it's always never fails to surprise the Super League, and that it hasn't today either.
Yeah, it's fascinating to say the very least. And as we hear, there are multiple ways of developing your engines and your cars, and obviously some will probably be better on some tracks than another as well. So you must also keep that in mind.
Yeah, you've got to plan throughout the season. It takes an awful lot of work. I've joked a couple of times about how I'd like to run a Super League team, but it is a lot of work, isn't it? Would be a big adjustment from not doing much teamwork at the moment as a team manager myself, because we're only forming a challenge, and it's a big step up in Super League. But I'm sure come the day, if it ever opportunity arose, I'd grasp it in both hands and then see if I actually was able to or not.
Yeah, it would be pretty interesting. I'm just glad I don't run any teams at the moment. It's just too much work.
Yeah, it's a tough life as a team manager, but nonetheless, it can be quite rewarding when your drivers do well. There's always that side of it. Always that to look forward to. And nonetheless, with a minute to go and warm up, we're just about getting to that point where we go racing. And with Germany at Hockenheim, it's a classic, really, isn't it? So should provide some mega racing.
So we're back to only having a 1 second between 11 drivers. So when they're doing race practice, this is going to be fascinating.
Yeah, we've had Formula Challenge this week, which has thrown up some great racing. We've had Super Cup, which has thrown up some good racing as well. And now we're going to have Super League. Can we make it 3 from 3? I think we can.
I do hope so, because this track seems to be very good for very close racing. Well, what we've seen, for example, yesterday with a series that we can compare DRS at the very least, the DRS is very effective here. I'm not sure we're going to just have to wait and see until the race happens with these cars. But the DRS and the opportunity to overtake into the hairpin is going to be the big element of this race.
We're just rounding out warm-up then. Chris Williamson, the race director, who we can't do anything without really, so props to you, Chris. Just telling everyone to start in the qualifying compound and to take good luck, care, etc. Don't be complete and utter daft to each other. Make sure you do top the car up with water to stop it from overheating, etc. No, he didn't actually say that last bit. That was a lie. But yeah, he's just informing the drivers, as he always does, that just going to do X, Y, and Z, giving them advice. We should be popping over the race soon, etc. And the drivers just wishing each other good luck before this German Grand Prix gets underway and we can actually commentate on the racing rather than warm up.
Well, we can commentate on driving.
Well, warm-up's warm-up, though, and we all know that whoever's quickest in warm-up is the real elite. In this case, it's Florian Gaia, so...
Yeah. Daniel Brewer's only sixth.
yeah, that's where the proper pros and whoever wins warm-up is, I think... We're going to get this show underway in a matter of moments, because even Chris Williamson has wished everyone good luck. So that usually means that it's time to get the gloves on, so to speak, and go racing. And we are going.
So this is going to be actually a fascinating race due to with strategy and stuff. As we were hearing, with people ranging from strategies from 2 to 5 stops. That's immense.
Yeah. So as our factor man calls out in the background over Kacper, what he usually does, we're going to get 67 laps of hockey dive underway. Could be a very varied race in terms of strategy. Could be a varied race in terms of who's quick and who isn't. But one thing we know for sure is that it's all smiles on the Kernow camp, as we're going to start the formation lap now. And it is going to be Daniel Brewer who takes pole position for the first time in what I believe is a long time for Kernow Sport. And that is a historic sight in itself. They'll be hoping for a very good result here. But right behind Brewer is Michael Francesconi in P2 for Adonis Engineering. And what a formidable opponent Brewer has in him. Philip Pushka, P3 for Vodball Racing, the current reigning drivers' champion as well. So the pressure will be on Daniel Brewer to get a good start. And David Feidick, current championship leader in P4. Now that is a good qualifying from Feidick as well. I wouldn't put it past him to keep his championship lead after this race as well. Florian Geyer, his teammate in the other Noldsgen Racing in P5. Then it's been Dorgus Columbus for Vodball Racing in P6 as well, coming over from Torrent Racing after their departure in a Vodball. Hopefully Columbus can do well again. Adrian McNaughton is currently P7 starting grid for Storm Racing, and it is indeed a Storm Row 4 as Emmanuel Gagzella starts right behind him in P8. Eros Michuli, P9, not quite as good a qualifying as he would have liked. And he's got Fran Lopez for company in row 5. The Spaniard on his return to Super League is P10. Lewis Redshaw a bit far down the order as of sort. Starts P11 for Wood Racing. And Tom Parker rounds out row 6 for Green Stripes Racing in P12. Then it's Devidas Misulis for Nijo in a P13. A very good position and wants to capitalise on that. Sven de Vries for Kernow Sport, P14. The American driving here today and will want a good result because we know he's very, very talented. Gergo Baldi 15th for Wouters Automotive. Then it's Wupke Hoekstra all the way up in P16. I say all the way up because it's comparatively high for Hawkeye. Ooh, shots fired in P16 there. Apologies, but they haven't had the best of seasons, have they? Ben Willis 17th in the other Green Stripes car. And then it's Morten Verneson for Hawkeye in 18th. And then row 10 consists of Dawei Tapper for Nijo Racing in 19th. And Adam Maguire all the way back in 20th place after such a good race last time round. And rounding out the field, having not done a qualifying lap alongside Maguire, is Menno Klunt for Woods Racing. So, Kacper, who's your pick for the race win?
Well, let's go for the underdog, and let's go for Brewer. Kind of an underdog, with all of the absolutely immensely quick drivers right behind him.
Well, you're going to go Brewer. I'm going to go fight it. I think Mr. Consistency, as his nickname, could really shine at a circuit which requires consistency and requiring the drivers to start the race. We have 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights for the 10th time rescue in 2016. We are off and away, and it looks to be a good enough start from Brewer, but a better one from Francesconi, who's side by side with the Englishman as we go into turn 1, but he hasn't got the better line. Francesconi ends up better off, and that has quite helped the Italian. Well, sorry, Brewer does, but now Francesconi's having to go into this turn here. Doesn't get the line he wants, unfortunately, and now he's going to have to wait. Brewer has led the field commandingly through the first few as they take the run down into the hairpin now.
Oh, as we have a spinner,
problems round the back. We'll focus on them later, though, as we've got a battle up and down the field. A ton of cars from 10 to 15 piling into the hairpin at once, but we got the likes of We got,
And Francesconi takes the lead.
Francesconi's taking the lead in all this. Francesconi has gotten past Brewer, and Dan Brewer has lost the lead now to Michael Francesconi. But Adonis Engineering, that has not benefited him very well, as we got all the cars down there in the likes of 15th all bunching up now. Devidas Mazulis has had a problem down the back. He's dropped way back down there as we come into the stadium section through Mobile 1 with the leaders. Philip Pushker and David Feidig have held on very, very well in all this. They managed to cling onto the back of this reigning couple of cars at the front, and Feidig's down into P5. Florian Geyer is into P4 in all this. McNaughton giving Geyer food for thought, but coming around the final turn now and down the front straight into the, repeating the same word there twice, but on in lap 2, we have Francesconi, Brewer, Pushka, Geyer, Feidig, McNaughton, Gigzella, Columbus, Mashuli, and Lopez are your top 10.
And we haven't even had DRS open yet because it's only on the 3rd lap, if I recall correctly.
Yep,
So we
only
get
lap
them
3. Yep, that's when it comes in. Devidas Masulis, it's then, and that is not going to help things, but Michael Francesconi is already bringing out a bit of a lead over Brewer here.
That's quite impressive so far, but we're just going to have to wait and see as Pushka goes for a maneuver into the hairpin. And is it going to stick? Yes, it is.
Oh, it is. Philip Pushka up in a P2. What a move from the reigning drivers' champion then.
That Valiant engine is very, very powerful, as we can see. Right, as we have Mr. Joshua Anderson having to leave for a little bit. Right, so with Michael Francesconi actually running away now over a second in front, the DRS is not going to be there for Philip Pushka. But we're just going to have to wait and see, and possibly as soon as the DRS is available to him, Brewer, you should not count him out to still fight for the 2nd place. Still right on the tail end of Pushka. Further down the field, we have a couple little battles in between just for the last places in the points within with Garibaldi and Adam Maguire being very, very near to each other. Possibly a move happening very soon, but as that's happening, we're having Agent McNaughton and Aris Mashuli being side by side, as I've seen with the corner of my eye, and going to the hairpin. And this is going to stick for Mashuli. He's on the inside, and a contact, but they got through there without too much of damage, with Mashuli in front of McNaughton for 8th place. Very well done to Mashuli. So at the end, so this is our last lap without DRS, and this is going to be, from now on, we're probably going to see even more action into that hairpin. There's possibly a battle brewing up with 4 people being very close for 10th place as well. It's Lopez going a bit, actually for 11, Fran Lopez just making a mistake and bunching up with Louis Recho and Sven de Vries. As the two come very close together into the 2nd corner, there's no move, but it's very possible that we're going to see some maneuvers into the hairpin now. And we see Recho and De Vries absolutely blasting through with DRS open. Nearly 3 wide into the hairpin. And they're both trying to take Lopez, who undercuts, and they've got it. They've both gone through Lopez, thanks to the DRS and the slipstreams. Well done. Back in the front, we still have this. We have no change, but Daniel Brewer is not falling back behind Pushka at all. They're still being very near each other. As we start another lap. Seems like a very seems like we do have a couple battles again, fairly spread out. Sorry? And we have live timing back now, so we can actually see a bit more of what's happening. Because I need to turn it on. So for anyone who wishes to see what's happening with on the track and the gaps and everything, please go to raceview.nl and it should be there on the main page. So at the moment, Michael Francesconi is actually running with it at a quite decent rate, nearly 2 seconds in front of Philip Puschke, who's still being challenged by David Brewer. And Florian Geyer is actually still fairly close, just about a second behind, as David Brewer gets it all wrong out of the corner and now has to defend from Geyer for the next couple laps. More than likely, it's all gone wrong right there, and he's lost quite a bit of distance to Puschke, possibly losing the DRS, which was very likely helpful for him to keep along. As we have that battle for 10th place actually is still going on. As we have Lopez just on the very back of De Vries after a double overtake. This is, I think this is actually worth having an eye on for now. As De Vries and Lopez just to the back of each other, right behind Lewis Redshaw. Let's see if they can do it into the hairpin, but Redshaw also has DRS, and is he going to overtake Parker? He's a bit too far. And no, he does it! Parker outbreaks himself and loses a spot to Lewis Redshaw. That is a big danger of just braking too late. You may, even if you're not alongside, you can gain so much time if you do it right and the person gets it all wrong. And it's so easy to do. And now Parker has more worries of Sven De Vries and Fran Lopez right behind him. As Parker goes wide again in for the arena. And Sven De Vries tries to take him into the last corner. And Parker rolls. There was contact. Sven De Vries, is it? No, Fran Lopez. And Fran Lopez lost the most of it. And for Tom Parker, that was a lot of time lost. Contact with going wide. That is definitely one to look at later. But that battle being a bit now more spread out because of this little incident. We have a little battle going for fourth now between Gazella and Geyer. They're very close again, and since we've dissipated with the 10th place, battle, now we can kind of concentrate possibly with a bit of a more front battle, as Geyer gets it a bit wrong out of the Mobile 1. Now this is interesting. He is going to possibly still have DRS. He has to gain 1/10 of a second on Brewer to actually get DRS. If not, it's going to be quite an interesting battle between Gazella and Geyer into the hairpin again after the Parabolica. And right behind him, there are also two others. Geyer and Fidok and Mashuli, actually. I've only just realized how Fidok has fallen so far behind. He's only in 6th place after starting in the second grid. Or second grid spot, yes. So, an absolute disaster of the first 7 laps for David Fidok. As we go back to Geyer, he goes a bit wide through the Mercedes arena, and now we're going to see maybe Gazella figures out some way of taking him, but no, I think they're all a bit too spread out now, but we're just going to have to wait and see. While all that is happening, Francesconi is starting to lose a bit of ground to Philip Puschke, who's actually pushing quite hard and is now nearly within a second. So possibly a fight for a lead soon enough, possibly tires. As we've heard, the front right tire, I think, is the one that is suffering absolutely the most during the race, so it wouldn't be surprising. As we have Masciuli back onto the back end of Fidok and with DRS open. Side by side, is he going to... He's on it before the corner even came up. Well done. Very clean move. And now Fidok is going to have to try and get back the position he just lost, but it's not looking very good for Fidok with a very disappointing performance so far. For the championship leader, and is it just his engine settings? That Martek's engine perhaps not working for him? Perhaps just trying to save tires. It's again, it's a very interesting case of a very quick driver suddenly losing a lot of pace. As we have Philip Puschke and fight for a lead, we are less than a second gap. We have a less than a second gap, and we have DRS for Puschke going into the parabolica. He's a bit too far, but he is getting very close now, and this looks like Michael Francesconi is actually losing quite a lot now. As he makes a mistake into the hairpin, and Puschke is right on the back of Francesconi now. It's not looking very good for the Italian. We're expecting Fidok to do just 2 stop. He is tire saving, is what I'm getting from his team manager, from Mr. Mike Pittman. So that is probably why we're losing he's losing so much. But he is keeping at the back of Gazella, and saving tires is definitely a reason why one would lose quite a bit of pace compared to others who are pushing him quite a bit more. Sorry. I have been mistaken, not the team manager. Sorry. My mistake. As I have Menoclan just letting front runners through as he is being lapped. But fight for the lead is intensifying. How long can Francesconi last? And right behind him. Oh, and we finally have the actual lead commentator back.
I'm sure you did a good job. Anyway, what have I missed?
Well, there's a battle for the lead now. Very close.
Yeah, but what's happened to Brewer? He's all the way back in. I can't find him. Or is he?
Brewer is.
Yeah, what's happened to him?
Oh, he's just putting in. Actually, he just must have lost those spots very recently. I've just been paying attention to quite a lot of places, and I've not even seen that. Actually, Fidok is also losing quite a bit of spots. He was like 7th at before Gazella and Brewer pitted in, but he is on a 2-pit strategy, so he is saving tires. At least that's what we were expecting.
Well, tyre saving is quite important around this place because you can end up pitting 5 times, as we've said, if you don't.
As Puschke makes a move into the hairpin, can he stick it in on the outside?
Oh, well, bit of clangy-bangy there, but does get through, does Philip Puschke, takes the lead of the race.
Impressive. He has gained quite a lot of time on Francesconi, and then just did a very clean move for the DRS zone. So
Oh, apparently live timing's back.
yes, it is.
So, Rob, if you could fix that up for on the go, that would be lovely. If you can't, then no worries. But apparently we have live timing now, so that will help things.
Yes, that is definitely an easier. It's a bit of a easier job for us to see the actual the split times.
Yeah, that would really help me, because now I can check who exactly is where. And like in terms of sector splits, yeah, I'm just gonna load this up on my computer now actually, because I've got it on my phone, and that's not as ergonomic.
And I can tell you right now who's pushing extremely hard.
Yeah.
There's Mashuli.
Oh wow.
He has just done the best middle sector of anyone throughout the race.
Well, it shows his commitment, doesn't it? Then he's let's see, his Mashuli P3 overall at the moment. We've got De Vries in the pits, Van De Vries pits for K9 Sports. And that is going to be obviously the American in now, and to potentially do some stuff.
As we have McNaughton also coming out of the pits now. And
Yep, Adrian McNaughton pits in all this. So,
there's a battle going between
Oh.
Willis and Maguire.
Yep, this is for points. Oh, Madam Maguire gets so lovely there.
That was very. Was that after pits or was that just a mistake from Willis? Oh, he's so much slower, look.
Oh, wow. Something has happened there then.
That is not a normal speed for a Super League car.
Perhaps then, oh well, he does close back up. Maybe he just had a couple of problems then, but
Possibly.
has closed the gap a little more to Maguire there, and Willis will hope to get himself back up the order. As I've just
Francesconi in pits.
Francesconi in, yeah, that is a big one. Michael Francesconi, it's in.
Fidok in pits as well.
And David Fight again, Lewis Redshaw in. All the top guys seem to be going for it now, at least. And Daniel Brewer is going to take advantage here.
Lewis Redshaw in pits as well.
If he can get past Fidek, as he has done. So David Fidek has Daniel Brewer for company.
So what it looks like is the whole strategy of two pits is not working very well for David Fidek. Or for for Philip Pushka, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's still. Oh yeah, Fidok was meant to stop, so yeah, that's not working for him very well, is it?
Well, David Fidek is not necessarily in the best position so far, but
no,
he might improve. As it's started for the race win because he's so consistent, but 23 seconds behind Philip Pushka, that might not be as on the cards as one may think now, but nonetheless, we have green sectors in Sector 1 from Sven De Vries, Anna Maguire, Alway Tapper and Fran Lopez. They are all up on their personal bests.
I guess the lighter car and new tires will always help with that.
And Pushka in. Pushka in, Mashuli in, Gaia in. Everyone's pitting again.
So it seems like basically all the calculations are out of the window and everyone's spinning in at the same time.
Yeah, and now everyone pits in. Madogas Columbus is going to take race lead out of all this.
Well, that's a surprising lead.
Now he has actually won a race this season as well, so, you know,
well,
he might not be as on track for a second as he would like, but currently it is a Vodbull 1-2.
Vodbull is definitely a very quick car, though, so that's not as much of a surprise.
Wow, I've just seen Emmanuel Caxella there. He's done a 19.5 fastest lap of the race.
Wow.
So now Caxella wants a piece of the action as well.
As Francesconi is putting in the fastest first sector of anyone and just did a record last lap as well. So Francesconi on a mission.
Well, who isn't at this race? Well, Gagzella's hitting the fastest lap. Francesconi will want to see if he can get the fastest lap. And I'll have to keep an eye on this live time, and it's very useful information.
It is, and we actually get the team names, which is very handy for me.
Well, yeah, because I know every team now. As
yes.
It's all still looking well and dandy out there for Philip Pushka, because he's not that far behind his teammate, having just pitted. So, looking all right.
All calming down a little bit now, it looks like.
Yep, it does that at this
There's
point.
There's a battle between Baldy and De Vries at the moment going into the Mobile 1.
Oh!
As De Vries goes through.
Man. That was a brave move.
That was very brave. There was it's very reminiscent of one of the moves yesterday, but I was I've only seen one of those so far. It's very impressive.
Well, you
As
said
well the pits.
Francesconi was quick. He's just done a personal best time that really isn't far off Gaxella's fastest lap. I think there's only about 200ths in it.
Now is he going to try and
as
catch?
you say, is on a mission.
Now is he going to try and catch Pushka, or can Pushka put out some amazing lap times of his own?
We'll have to see what the gap is. At present, it's about 1.4 seconds. So let's see what the gap reduces to as they come through Sector 2 and see where that... Oh, wow, Michael Francesconi.
Oh, Francesconi.
Francesconi has actually just let his own teammate Mashuli through there, and then that's not worked out because he's gone through again.
What was that about? It was a very odd maneuver.
Now, what has happened there? I'm not sure I know what's happened because he'd caught up, then he let him through. Eros then went wide the next corner, and that has not worked out. So...
Possibly seen Mashuli make a mistake, possibly a TeamSpeak message between the two, and just knew that Mashuli has just missed a breaking point.
Here goes Pushka through for the lead then. We've got the two Adonises in great chase. And not far behind this guy, Gazella Brewer. So it's not over for the lead just yet. As we've just seen, actually, Philip Pushka, fastest lap of the race, 1:19.4. He's at 1:19.495 there, so just within the fours, but he's gone almost 2/10 up on the previous best.
Simply put, it's not going to be easy for Francesconi to catch up, and really on his rear once again. It's now, is there going to be team orders again, or?
Well, I don't think it was team orders before, but Meadows Racing himself, he'll be busy with Woods Racing, so let's see what they do. It's probably down to Francesconi Mashuli. What happens? Strange that Michael would just let him through, but Eros is championship leader, remember, so he'll need all the points he can get to catch the gap up to Fidek. Maybe that's why they decided to do it.
That's also very
Eros is higher up in the championship, rather, but Fidek leads the championship. Championship leader out of the two Adonis is what I meant.
Basically, they're both challenging, but Mashuli is in front of Francesconi, is what you're trying to say.
That's basically it in a nutshell, yes.
Well, it definitely, at this rate, it looks very good for them compared to Fidok, because Fidok just doesn't seem to have the pace on the circuit for some reason. It has been seen that Gazella just could pass past him earlier with the tires and completely obliterated him on right after. Just could barely keep up.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. Anyone wants to catch Philip Pushka, he's doing a fine job out there, the reigning drivers champion, putting a strong case for why he should keep that title.
As Francesconi lets Mashuli through.
Yeah, Mashuli goes through. I think the deciding factor on that one is that Eros was actually 4/10 faster on that last lap.
That's very likely.
So Michael probably just decides he doesn't want to let him through anymore. Hold him up anymore rather, and has let him through. Good on Michael for the team in that sense. But interesting point from Mr. Mike Pittman. David Fidek and Daniel Brewer on softs, not super soft like everyone else. And they are 6 and 7, so they might not be trying to stop as much.
Ah, that is very possible.
As is McGuire, as is Hoekstra, as is Clont.
Mike Pittman has told me that he is expecting Fidok to be doing a two-stopper, but that was
David Fidek,
as Brewer makes a mistake.
Brewer, who's had an altercation with the curb coming out of the last corner.
Why is he going so slow? What's happening to his car now?
What's happened there?
Is his engine dead? His engine is dead.
Oh, dearie me, that's not good at all. Hang on, wait a minute. Yeah, he actually came into the turn.
No, it's running.
Go wrong for Brewer. He slows down. He's pulled off at the side of the track, and this could be him out here.
The engine is idling, but he's stuck in fourth gear.
I think
Maguire crashes and actually touches Brewer after crashing.
Maguire has had a do there. He actually clips the inside curb, loses it, and then clouts Brewer. I'm thinking possibly controller problem, but Brewer's out. That is a DNF. Therefore, could have been anything.
It very much looked like some kind of a controller issue.
Meanwhile, Eros Majuli, having been let through, has now done the fastest lap of the race, 1:19.1.
That is very, very quick.
A whole 3/10 up on the previous best.
That
It's determination, isn't it?
it is. He's gone 2/10 slower this lap again, but he is still catching up to Philip Pushka at least 2/10 a lap. That is very, very quick. So we're going to have to wait and see again. Maybe he's going to do what Pushka did to Francesconi earlier.
Well, Eros, arguably the fastest car on track right now. Philip's got his work cut out now if he wants to do that. But what a shame for Daniel Brewer, who's now out of the race, probably, for some reason that we just don't know.
After it's such a disappointing result now, because starting from a pole, you expect to at least get good points out of the race, and this is just so very disappointing.
A front wingless Adam Maguire has now done almost a full lap without the front wing because he's had to, because he missed the pit lane. He has been overtaken for 15th by David Asmusulis in the Nijo. I was now chasing down Ben Willis in 14th. But the fight we want to be looking at, I think, is this one for P6. David Feidig and Mindaugas Columbus absolutely going to war with each other here.
That's going to be interesting again. And as we were seeing, Columbus has the faster tire, so
because David Feidig on the softs. As Adam Maguire now retires, or is in the pits at least from the race, it just has red there. So it doesn't distinguish between who's out and who's in the pits on the line timing. I should look at the game, Josh. Maguire is in the pits here in P17. Yeah, race view does not distinguish from who's out and who's in pits, so I can tell you Maguire is still in the race. So, yeah, he is, well, at least out of the points now, if anything. He's in P18. Menno Klon won't overtake him, but will get closer.
Oh, is that going to be Columbus going through Fidok on the DRS?
Let's have a look. Columbus, well, he'll have the DRS. Gets the DRS, the instant speed boost, and that Valiant engine is going to be working its socks off to get past the Martex unit of David Feidig, but he looks to have done it.
He goes by.
Outside, and Feidig just gets the cutback.
Columbus ran way wide. Delayed
apparently Adam Maguire is out of the race. Well, that's foreshadowing for you.
Unluckily. Commentator's curse, is it?
No. I just foreshadowed it. Either which way, Mindaugas Columbus is going to have to do all that work all over again.
Yeah, he will have to do it again because he is significantly faster and he has the faster compound, which seems to have quite a bit of advantage.
Interestingly, on that last lap, nobody improved on the previous best times.
I think the tires are starting to actually get quite a bit more worn, and since everyone pit at about the same time, I'm actually not surprised.
Yeah, nobody improved on the previous lap before this one on their best times. Although I have just seen that Gergo Baldi's done a better sector there, so someone might be, but if not anyone, well,
Columbus even closer.
Oh, but Columbus is more important at the moment. He's getting closer and closer to Feidig. What's he going to try this time? As long as David holds that outside line, Mindaugas is absolutely helpless. So he's going to have to try something. Where's he going?
Is he going to
go
go?
On the inside again, uncertainty, but he goes down the outside. This
and
time he holds it, and Feidig tries to get a look in, and they've actually ended up side by side in all this, but David's going to have to yield, and Columbus goes through.
This was actually a bit, it looked like it was a bit more of the real road in R Factor 2 action as well out of that corner. Basically Columbus being on a more rubbered in part, having a bit more grip, plus having a more sticky tire.
Well, it did help. Well, now David Feidig is going to have to try and do some catching up here.
Now,
looking for any other battles we've got going on at the moment. I don't see any, apart from Dawe Tapper going for P12, and Wupke Hoekstra has got through before the corner, breaks forward, gets the inside, and he's through into P12, and then Wupke tries to get a little bit of a look in, but doesn't have the leverage.
And the tires are also factoring in this battle. Wupke on the slower soft tire. Now,
but apart from those couple of battles, we don't have that much going on, although
there is
we did still have Feidig Columbus, and that's important.
I think what we're going to see soon at this rate is possibly Feidig having to fight off McNaughton if they're if McNaughton can start catching up, since he's on a faster tire.
Oh, apparently it was game issues for Dan Brewer. Apparently he was going in slow motion. That's not good.
That is not good. I know that issue. I've had it before, and it's absolutely heartbreaking if you do get something like that in a race.
Well, yeah, it just happens ultimately, I guess. As we're going to start lap 24 now, I believe, of the race. And Philip Pushka leading by 2 seconds over Eros Michuli, although I think that gap has come down.
It is coming down slowly, but
he's doing chip damage to his gap.
That's only about 2/10 a lap, which
Jack
is very
Zeller
little.
in the pits and all this, overtaken by his own teammate now, McNaughton. Redshaw goes through, De Vries goes through. Looking to come out in P10 as the Romanian.
McNaughton is slightly closing in on Fidock, but it was only 1/10 of a second last lap.
Yeah, I mean, he's not closing in by much as Eros, but he's closing in by enough. David Fidock has dropped off the back of Mindaugas Columbus, though, is now under threat from Adrian McNaughton. This is, again, a battle for P6. But this time, it's looking like Columbus could extend while McNaughton goes through.
McNaughton is actually in the DRS range by now, I think, from what it seems. So this is going to be very interesting.
We're going to see Storm versus Nordstrom.
Indeed.
So, Adrian then, therefore, as we come around these, let's just chase through the stadium section. He is within DRS range. Lewis Redshaw just outside of DRS range of Fidock ahead of... He's within DRS range of McNaughton, I think. But he's not within DRS range of Pushka. So, Fidock, sorry, I'm getting my drivers mixed up now. Adrian McNaughton, therefore, he's just waiting behind to see if anything happens, isn't he? McNaughton,
yeah.
And then Redshaw waiting behind both of them.
It seems like he is pushing enough. Also, we've just seen his DRS open on the short straight. And as we go into the big DRS zone on the circuit, are you going to see a little move, or is he too far back?
Well, DRS does help, but how much is it going to help Adrian McNaughton
A lot.
with the Storm Racing car? He's closing. Does he have the leverage? He's not going to try, no.
But he is just on the very back of Fidock now.
Yeah, I don't know whether the draft will be enough for him, but it's going to help him. But the more he stays in Fidock's draft, the more he gets that dirty air, and that's going to hurt his handling. Also, depends on how much that Storm car has had dirty air upgrades on it, but...
Which is a good thing to check right now.
Yeah, Kacper, the technical expert, or at least the made technical expert out of us lot.
Storm has...
Meanwhile, this battle for the lead is still within interest because Eros Michuli is close to 1.2 seconds.
Storm has just a bit of dirty air upgrades, similar to actually the exact same as Adonis.
I don't think Eros has got enough gap on Philip to get DRS here. Probably won't get it, does not in fact get it, so we'll have to wait until he closes in even more, but he's doing that at a rate of knots already. So Sven De Vries pits for the Kernow Sport, the Soul Kernow now.
Would that possibly be Pushka's tires starting to fade?
Potentially, but hopefully for him, if they're not, he won't be happy if they are because they'll be losing ground. But I think
he is sliding around actually.
I think Michuli's within DRS distance now.
Yeah, if you look at Pushka right now, you can see him sliding through corners, which is not good. Not only does it kill the tires, it already overheats them and loses their grip. This is not what you want to do.
I'll tell you who did the fastest lap there. Emmanuel Gagzella, 1:19 dead. 0.74 that was, so he's getting quicker. And he's not necessarily out of a good finish yet as the Romanian.
Shows how quick that Storm car is.
And how quick he is.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a combination of both at the end, isn't it?
Of course, yes.
Well, Eros Michuli having the right combos at the moment because he's 0.737 behind Philip Pushka. So, we'll be looking to get DRS and close the gap, at least a bit, if not overtake.
I think it may take another 1 or 2 laps before he can actually make a move, but at this rate, he can close very much and then perhaps even try and move into another corner. It's always a possibility.
Does have the DRS. He won't get the move done this turn, but he's going to close the gap, try and brake aggressively enough to close in, and then get a good enough exit so he holds it instead of Pushka just rocketing away.
That was quite a bit of that was actually quite a bit of closing in on that braking.
Yeah, he's quite close now as Eros. This could be a challenge for the lead. I'd say there's about half a second in it now between the two of them, which is down from 0.7 before.
Actually, McNaughton in pits, by the way.
Got McNaughton in, so in the pits is Adrian McNaughton for Storm Racing. The gap half a second between Philip Pushka and Eros Mashuli now. So this is something's gonna give soon, and you wonder when it's gonna.
Now, it's isn't it a bit too early for a pit? So Pushka has already destroyed his tires. He's going to have to last for a very long time on those very damaged tires.
I wouldn't say destroyed them. Eros is a very quick driver, as we know. He's a 10th down on Pushka that last lap, I think. He was 6/10 up before. Gets the DRS going into the second turn here. It's going to help him out a bit, and then the back straight is really going to help a lot. I say the back straight, but it's actually one big left. But this is really going to help Eros now. He's 6/10 down.
Asgar in Francesconi in pits.
And he gets it. So how much is he going to close in? Is it even going to be enough for an overtake? It's not going to be enough for an overtake, I don't think. But again, he's going to close in. He's going to get a good exit this time and make sure he has the advantage.
Asgar and Francesconi just in the pits at the moment, so...
Yep, both come out. It's all about this lead battle at the moment, though, between Eros Mashuli and Philip Pushka. These two, as we've just gone 40% of the race complete, these two are going at it like cat and dog at each other. They really want the lead, both of them. Eros has not caught up enough in the DRS zones and has not been able to mount the overtake. And I think I see the pit in logo on his wheel as I see Pushka. Both are going to pit, I think. So Pushka, round a couple of turns. He goes in the pits. Eros is actually elected to stay out.
That is going to be one lap where Pushka may be able to pull out a bit more of a gap if Eros is going to go into the pits next lap.
What he's done is he's opted for the leapfrog on Eros Mashuli. He's gone in earlier, and he does not change to the softs. He's still on the super softs. So Eros is going to need a good stop here if he wants to retain that lead.
So we're going to see at the very least one more stop from Pushka.
Yeah, at the very least. Columbus is not far behind him now, but of course has not pitted yet, so probably won't go for an overtake. Looking further down the field now, the two Norwegians are in P5 and P6, Fidek and Gaia. Now, it's going to be interesting, this. Gaia is going to go for the overtake. David Fidek not able to fight it much, and doesn't, as Florian and Gaia rockets ahead. And David pretty much running his own race at this point, you'd think.
Yeah, it's definitely the tires. Again, Gaia, same team, better tires, and just being in the pits, so just no point.
I think David just wants to be the Mr. Consistency that we know him as. Keep it nice and consistent, hope he's going to get a win that way. As Eros Mashuli still has the pit-in logo on the hood there. It does come in this time, so all eyes on Philip Pushka. Will he leapfrog Eros Mashuli or not? Eros just comes through now down the pit lane into his pit box. He's going to roll soon. He's going to brake now, hits it, and then we look at Philip Pushka coming down the start finish. I think he's going to do it, you know.
Pushka
goes through. He's timed that beautifully.
Pushka has gotten so much. It's just the pace you get on the new set of tires is just so much more. As Columbus goes...
Oh, Columbus goes through as well. That's put even more of a problem on Mashuli. It's a Vodbull 1-2 again, but I'll tell you what. The gap has gone from 0.5 to 3.2 seconds.
It just doesn't seem like the pit crew is doing a very good job for...
Oh, but Mashuli gets the DRS, you see. Now he's just straight back there on Columbus again.
New tires. Just no way to defend it, plus DRS.
Columbus had no way of taking the position back either, so now he's just going to, on those new tyres, catch Pushka on those new tyres, but there's a bit of a gap between them. Pushka just coming through here. I think it's come down a little bit, but not enough to warrant an overtake just yet.
We're just going to have to wait and see. Eros is going to have quite a bit of work cut out for himself.
Yep, he's going to have a deal on here as Mashuli, but don't put it past him. He was close to an overtake before. As Hawkeye just gets off the track there for them.
Good back marking from Hostra.
Yep, Wupke Hoekstra, of course, very talented in his own right, running a nice little race here. In 13th for Hawkeye, so they are going to get points.
That's very good.
Always a good thing. As Philip Pushka just improved on his best with a 1:19.3. That's what fast tires do for you.
But Arrows with the fastest middle sector and his own record in the last sector, so he is pushing very hard as well.
Indeed, and he sets the fastest first of anyone.
That is, he is on a mission again.
Hands, ladies and gents. We've got a battle on our hands indeed, as now it's really is the Pushka and Mashuli show out of who of these two is going to take the win. Not to say there's not interesting battles further down the field though. Lewis Redgill clashing in on Sven de Vries in the car now.
Another one of the very close battles. And just a bit too far in the DRS, but Red Show will be trying to now keep up with de Vries and possibly trying it again next lap.
Well, it might be the case. Might be the case for him indeed. And well, I should say neither Pushka nor Mashuli has improved on their bests in Sector 2, but they might have only been a little bit off their bests.
Oh, also Fidok has actually been in the pits and in the meantime gone on the super
soft.
soft.
David Fidok has pitted in all this. Sorry we missed that. But you know what's even more important? Mashuli, fastest lap, 1:18.4.
A mission alright is what he is on.
We haven't seen a 1:18 I think this race. Now
No.
He just goes and posts a mid-18.
That is the first 1:18 of the race. That is it. We had Godzilla very close, but that is the first 1:18, and he goes over half a second faster than anyone has in the race.
Yeah, he actually goes a full second quicker than Pushka that lap. Almost.
And he still keeps it up in the first sector, so he's not giving up.
Yeah, I mean, he's not. He's a never give up person, isn't he, Eros? You know, must be pushing all almighty heck out of those tires to get him to go that fast. But
as he can now see Philip Pushkin, his crosshairs is going to be firmly in place on that car in front of him.
Yeah, he's absolutely. The gap is just vanished.
It's less than a second.
Laps. I'd say there's now 7/10 in it. He's within DRS range within a couple of laps.
How does one even manage to do something like this? It's quite incredible.
I think it's just you can get into the zone sometimes, can't you?
As he doesn't want another 1:18.
Down on the fastest lap of the race this lap. Pushka improves to his all-time best.
That all-time best from Pushka is nowhere near what Eros is being out though. That is that gap difference.
It's gonna be DRS time for Eros. Probably not close enough to make a move, but he's gonna get close enough sooner or later. You can guarantee that.
Close enough to try and make a move into anywhere now. He's just so much faster.
Well, it is almost Risto Kacper level of Adian, isn't it? When you think about it.
Yeah. Look, he actually did not do nearly as well yesterday as we would hope from a person that quick.
Well, yeah, it is just getting a bit exciting now, isn't it? You know, all of a sudden, everything interesting happens. That's just how Super League can be.
All of a sudden, we have an actual
interesting
battle.
thing, and it all happens at once.
Two completely different manufacturers fighting for the lead. That's something that...
Both using the same Valiant engine, of course, but one the works team, one a customer team.
That would that now I'm not still so accustomed to it. Would that make such a big difference? Or
no,
are
it's the same spec engine.
Yeah,
so the exact same engine in that car. It's just Vodbull actually make the engine, so that technically makes them the works team.
So possibly a slight bit of an advantage with knowing how they're going.
But I think it is the same spec, but they'll know the engine better.
Yeah, that's what
here we go then. Eros Mashuli, DRS on Pushka once more. I think he's almost maxing out that engine as he goes for the braking zone, but Philip retains the lead by virtue of the fact that Eros is not close enough.
Philip is so fast in a straight line, actually, compared to Eros is what it looks like. It's just very difficult to actually... And we have a battle for P6.
Oh yeah, we do. McNaughton Columbus away from this Pushka and Mashuli battle. We got the battle for P6. Move through goes McNaughton down the inside. Not the ideal line for the Englishman, but he can make it work. He holds the inside. And Columbus,
He's
well,
got
actually,
it.
it is the ideal
No.
line, sorry. It's Columbus and the non-ideal line. And he's gonna keep the inside though. McNaughton forced to yield. We're gonna battle on between Reds and De Vries though. Right behind him, contact between the two of those.
my.
So all of a sudden, Sven De Vries makes a mistake there. But we have a four-way battle almost for P6.
So what happened there was McNaughton actually was off the Robert in part, and he just had a wheel spin and couldn't get the car going quickly enough.
Yeah, that might be the case. We've got position changes as Gagzella in. But now this is the one we're looking for. Back to the front. Mashuli. Pushka's had to deal with traffic. Now Eros does. He's going to have a
But
lot
that's
better
Pushka
deal.
with DRS.
Now he's in between the two.
But that's Pushka with DRS thanks to Tapper.
Oh, yes. Phillips got DRS too. And that's not helped Eros, has it?
No, it hasn't,
Now
but
he's
he is
gotta
so
wait
close still.
another lap.
The distance is nothing still, though. It's 0.4 of a second. That's literally nothing.
Yeah, there really ain't much in it. Gaia versus Francesconi as well. Francesconi gets the cutback coming up for the hairpin. Gains P3 from Gaia, who may have already had it. And then we've got the battles down in P5 and that. But for now, at least, we have a nice little battle for third between Francesconi and Gaia as well to look at. So, Gaia seems to drop off now, though. So, unfortunately, this has not worked out for the German as well as he would have liked.
Mashuli is so very close still for the last couple of corners.
There ain't much in it, is there really? There's really
No.
practically nothing in it between these two. And even on lap times, I think they posted very similar lap times last night because Philip had the DRS as well from Dawe Tapper. But now Eros is going to get a clear run, isn't it? Because there's no DRS for Pushka this
As
time.
Pushka goes a bit squirrely on the
Yeah, it
exit.
gets a bit squirrely. Look, practically nothing in it. Pushka will want to go outside here.
That must be it.
No, he hasn't. When he does go outside, makes Mashuli go the long way around. And is this going to help him?
Must
I don't
have
know.
it.
Down into the hairpin, Pushka gets the inside and the cutback contact between the two. Mashuli one's wide. And great defensive driving from Pushka. He got the car right where he needed to.
That contact, that made Mashuli just go a bit wide onto the curb and just absolutely no grip on that curb whatsoever.
Well, there ain't much of a gap in it still. There really isn't that much. Again, a fantastic piece of defensive driving to go down the inside and hold it from Pushka. So that is it's a very brave thing to have to do, but he does it.
That's the only way to defend it, really, is what it appears like. You know, keeping on the inside and trying to take that line and make yourself as wide as possible, really.
Yeah, well, we're going to have another go at it down the 4-5-6 complex again, as we are 54% of the way through this race, 36 laps down. This is lap 37 we're on now, and it's going to be another battle between these two. Can Eros Mashuli take the lead this time? We'll have to see. Again, no DRS to Pushka, but it's going to be DRS for Mashuli. He waits, gets the zone, hits it when he gets to the zone. Is Pushka going to go down the outside again, which becomes the inside? Yes, he is. He's going to make Eros do it the hard way. Down into the hairpin. Is it going to be deja vu all over again? Yes, it is.
Eros trying the cutback.
Eros gets the inside. And
Eros has it.
From Eros. That has got him the lead in this race. Eros Mashuli into P1.
Brilliant move in cutback. Pushka just going a bit too wide and just couldn't defend it.
Yep, he just went a bit too wide. Eros saw the chance, turned right in, and is now the leader of this race. But now he's got to defend from Philip Pushka.
I see two cars being fairly close together and possibly having a bit of a battle soon. Recha and McNaughton, they're in DRS range of
each other, yeah, but don't count out Philip Pushka making a comeback here. He could use the DRS to close up himself because he's going to get a little bit of an advantage in terms of lap time here.
Now the question is he going to do it with the pace that Eros showed before he caught up to Pushka?
Well, I find sometimes it helps to have someone in front of you to have a little bit of motivation to push harder. Maybe Philip Pushka works the same way, I don't know, but we'll have to see. The gap has closed a little bit from what it was. I'd say there's still about 3 tenths in it.
That's actually very close.
Pushka is certainly going to get the DRS. Is Mashuli going to do to him what Pushka did to Mashuli? Here comes Philip. He's closing. He does. He'll have to go around the outside. Breaks for it. It looks like Eros has it
Or
now.
outbreaks himself.
Right now he's going for the cutback himself, but there's not enough track space. But Eros gets squiggly. He's going to give Philip a chance. He's going to try down the inside, or try and sell him a dummy, rather. Eros does go defensive, so it works in that sense. But there's no room for the German, and he can't get the position done.
That would have been a very dangerous move if he actually did try to go for it.
Well, he had to try something. He didn't try an overtake, but he tried something. And something he did try. Well, he's probably going to get another chance down the down into turn 2 and through the 4-5-6 again, because he's close enough. He's going to get the DRS. That's going to help the German out a lot.
It's definitely something that will keep you closer. And since we do have 2 DRS zones here, so it does help, even though the first one is quite a weakened effect.
Well, Philip is going to get DRS. He's not as close as he was, though. This is going to be a problem.
I think Eros is starting to find his own pace finally. The thing about driving behind someone and fighting someone, you kind of get used to driving behind them, and it's hard to get your own pace back for a lap or two. It's just something you don't even think about.
Yeah, possibly that might be the case. And if Eros can get out of the DRS range, then Philip will have a big job on his hands. He'll be pretty much banking on Eros making a mistake.
From there and therein, he will be hoping on that very good pit stop and undercut that he had last time. 3 seconds on one pit stop is quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've still got lots of pit stops to go from other drivers as well, but nonetheless, to be where he is right now must be an advantage for Eros, because Philip could theoretically put him on the pit stop front again, but he'd have to know when Eros is going to pit. And all he can do is react, really.
By the way, Lewis Redshaw got past Adrian McNaughton for 7th place.
Yep, Redshaw through on McNaughton, therefore, into P7 for Woods Racing.
As Geyer pits.
Geyer does pit, and I'll tell you who else is slated to pit. Redshaw, he's got the pit in on his car. I can see that, and it looks like it will probably be this lap if he does, but Redshaw, yep, continues to turn, does pit in. McNaughton pits also, as Heidig doesn't. De Vries does. So maybe this whole soft tint run might have helped David Feideck.
We're going to have to wait and see, I guess.
Yep, we'll have to wait and see. Eros Mashuli, I can inform you, has now pulled out a 1.1 second gap over Pushka, so out of DRS range is the German, and he's going to have to rely on his own pace to catch up now.
Yeah,
Eros, though, is about 7/10 of a lap quicker, or at least half a second, so it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, Eros is back into doing 118s, which are just laps which Pushka just cannot do, is what it appears like. That Adonis car seems to be so well set up this race, at least for Eros.
Yeah, so Philip might just be best off trying to get him on the tactics front now, because we saw how well that can do. But unfortunately, Michael is not really Michael van Scorny behind, not in a position to take any further strides towards either of them. So it is really not going to be a 2-horse race. A slightly less 2-horse race if Eros can pull even further ahead. So maybe worth looking further down the field and seeing if we've got any battles on. And I can tell you now, we do not, I think.
No, unless 1 lap down, maybe.
So how about that airline food then, Kacper? We've got to talk about something.
Airline food.
Well, let's say it's a classic joke in England when you don't have anything to talk about. So
right.
well,
that's the one I never knew. No,
I tell you what, we've got coming up though in a couple of months, the International Touring Cup here at GPVWC, and that never lends itself to racing that's miles apart from each other.
Oh no. Touring cars, the way
Touring
I actually
cars,
got...
yeah, there's always close racing in touring cars.
Yes, the way I actually got found out was through touring cars and how I got my first proper drive.
But here's the question about touring cars though. What's your favourite year from touring cars?
Now, are we talking like which year as in kind of a model of the cars, or are we
Yeah,
talking?
as in general quality of what year do you think was the best in terms of cars and racing?
Well, racing I can't really say since I've only been following it sparsely for the last maybe 7 or 8 years. But cars wise, if you're gonna give me any touring cars, I would so love the 1970s.
Oh,
Hmm.
oh, that is a throwback. I mean, we're talking touring car legends sort of era there.
The
aren't
kind
we?
of stuff, yeah. I just love those kind of well, just as the slicks came into work, so early slicks, so you're going sideways everywhere. I just love that kind of feeling.
Yeah, so we're talking Ford Escorts and that era,
Yeah,
aren't we?
and maybe like something like a BMWs, the Batmobile, something like that.
Wow, that's your sort of favorite touring car era. I'm
I'd
going
probably
to go
say so, yeah.
curveball, and I'm going to say the super touring era from 1994 or something, 1999 or 2000.
That's not very much of a
VTCC super tourers were brilliant.
That's not very much of a curveball, though, is it?
Well, it's a curveball compared to Ford Escorts.
Ah, yeah.
I always loved the super tourer era myself. I haven't watched it as much as I would like, but favorite super tourer has to be the Ford Mondeo. I mean, had a V6 for God's sake.
Well, one thing, though, if I was going to go for any super tours, I'd go for the semi-cheating Audi A4.
The Quattro.
Yep.
Yeah, fire up the Quattro because that wins the 1996 season.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was a revolutionary idea. They just banned it. So.
Yeah, it was just because they couldn't actually balance the four-wheel drive.
Yeah. So. Hang on. I think Philip Pushka is closer to Eros Mashuli than he was before.
Was that a mistake?
Let's actually talk about Superleague, not touring cars.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
well, what
Eros
happened
is
was.
actually Phillips closing in.
Yeah, Mashuli.
Oh, it was a backmarker for Mashuli that caused that, but Pushka, if he can just hold this for a minute, he's closing in that sector there. He has closed in a bit. Do not adjust your televisions. We're going to have a fight on for the lead again.
Oh, there was actually a battle on track, but 2 laps behind.
Well, I hope Philip Pushka's within DRS range come this end of the lap, because if he's not, then it's going to be a big disappointment. Is it going to be a big disappointment? Yes,
it is.
So back to touring cars then.
Yep.
I say that, but Sven de Vries and Lewis Redshaw aren't very far behind each other. About 1.2 seconds in it, but all it takes is a good sector.
All it does, yeah. The gaps are just nothing if you're talking under 2 seconds, really. It's just one mistake, isn't it?
Yeah, one mistake can grant your opponent DRS in Super League.
Francesconi in pits.
Gaxella is taken third by Reens and Francesconi pitting. Mendogas Columbus is going to go into P4. Now that's interesting because it could be Mashuli's going to come in soon. Whoa. Yeah, Eros could be in. I'll tell you who is planning on coming in. Philip Pushka. He's got the pit in light, and this could be a leapfrog.
That he did pit 1 lap early last time compared to Mashuli. So is that going to be another undercut, or are we?
If he undercuts him and gets the leapfrog again, this will put him back in race lead, and that could be crucial.
Now, are we going to see Eros pitting in next lap, again, or?
Well, we'll have to see what Eros does here. I don't think he's big on pitting as he comes around the last turn. He is not, and Philip Pushka is, because Eros doesn't. In comes Pushka, going for the undercut again. And Eros will be planning on pitting now because he's seen him and he has to react.
There's basically because Pushka is going to be so much quicker. There is no other way but to pit in.
Oh, little mistiming on the box entry there, but he's on the softs. He's on the softs, is Philip Pushka.
Is he going to try to take it back all the way to the end, possibly?
Well, he's going to have to do about 20 or 18 laps on those softs, so...
It's possible.
It's not impossible for Philip Pushka. He's going to be slower than Eros. Has Eros taken the softs yet?
No, he hasn't.
So Eros might be going on the softs as well. If he doesn't, he's going to pit in again. But is the gap going to be worth it on the tyres?
No, that's going to...
have to see.
Now, I'm going to follow the next couple sectors, so... second and third sector will be able to tell, but if you will, it will be good to monitor if Mashuli is going to have the pit light on.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Eros' lap. He's ended on a 1:19.6 there, so His tyres must be reaching the end of the lifetime because he's slower than he was before. He's going to pit, obviously.
As he
Here he
pits in.
comes, is Philip Pushka into the stadium section.
Yeah, Pushka was actually faster through the middle sector by 0.4 of a second, so it's a good call to come in.
Mashuli in there for, will he take the softs? Will he take the super softs? It depends. It shows whether he's going to take another stop or not. Stays on the super softs. He will have to pit again. And to add insult to injury, Philip Pushka's close. Is he going to take the lead?
He's not going to have it, is he?
He's close. He's close. He's got the speed advantage coming into 2. And, well, I don't think he's going to do it yet.
Mashuli
He's
got
within
it.
DRS range.
Now is Pushka going to have the grip to get through and get the speed to get him in DRS? Is he going to be able to actually pull it out of the hairpin?
What I have to say is he comes into the hairpin. He's close, but I don't think he's close enough. But
No way.
remember, if Mashuli has not taken the softs yet, he will have to.
He will have to for the last couple laps. But then again, the thing, Pushka, if he's going to try to take it to the end, his tires will be absolute dead by the end of the stint. While Mashuli is going to have such a speed advantage by the end.
Yeah, it depends, but we'll have to see whether he. I wasn't here if he has taken the softs, so.
I haven't seen him take it soft unless he started on him.
Well, we'll have to find out if he has or not. So I sometimes I've been wrong about it.
And
I
luckily,
wouldn't know myself, but if anyone does know whether the Eros has taken the softs this race, do tell us.
my little trick from 2 weeks ago is not working since we don't have the overlay.
Yeah, I guess so. According to Mike Pittman, Eros has not taken the softs, so he will have to pit again.
Well then.
Things may have got interesting if Philip Pushka can stay within pit stops distance. And he's going to get the DRS guaranteed, but then Eros isn't. DRS guaranteed because there's problems with the back marker there. I say problems, but
Actually,
more benefits.
The only reason why Pushka has the DRS was because of the back marker. He's already over a second behind Eros, so the tires.
So you can just hold the back markers go his way then to help him keep within a pit stop distance. And if he does, then all the better.
It appears like Pushka is not going to have DRS anymore. It's just, he's too far. It's going to be way over a second.
Yeah, Eros is very quick at the moment, but how long does it take for a pit stop? Right? About 15 seconds?
Eros putting in the fastest time of the middle sector.
Oh, David Feidick past Lewis Redshaw for P7 down into the hairpin. Redshaw tries to get the cut back, but doesn't work out for him. So this is going to be a one to watch, definitely, as we watch Mashuli Pushka for the gaps. Yeah, Eros comes across the start finish line. Philip comes across the start finish line.
Eros does the
start
fastest.
of the race, 1:18.2, and Pushka a whole second down exactly.
Well,
exactly a 1:19.283.
It looks like the DRS did not actually indeed help him through that middle sector.
He's going to be about 1.5 seconds down a lap on Eros Mashuli, you would think, or 1.2 seconds at the most.
At this rate,
so
at this rate, it's not going to be worth
times
it.
About, if we assume he's on that for 18 laps and pits with about 1 to go, he's going to gain 21 seconds, which I think is more than enough for a pit stop, but he might come in a few laps before.
Yeah, that very much sounds like the plan.
But Pushka has to stay within 15 seconds. At the rate he's going, he's not going to.
At this rate,
might actually work out for Eros.
And even if the gap starts, the actual gap between their two paces is going to start decreasing, all Eros has to do is get onto the softer tire, the harder tire, and finish the race from there on.
Yeah, but remember, every single time Philip Pushka comes across the back marker, it's DRS, and that helps to reduce the amount of time he's losing.
As Eros goes faster through the first two sectors and about to cross the finish line.
And we'll see what he does. He did a 118.
Even faster.
He moves again, a 118.121. So he's on another level at the moment.
That's 1.4 seconds quicker than Philip Pushka.
So that's the sort of gap he's losing. At this rate, he will come out ahead of the pit stops, you'd think. Of course, you've got pit in out time to consider, but Eros will have to pit again, but I think he might have enough gap over Pushka at this rate.
I think that's very much it.
And that's what's going to be the case. So we'll look at We'll look at the battle if there is any further down, which there doesn't appear to be actually, so that's my plan towards it. Nope, there's literally nothing happening.
How good.
So, touring cars, I know we're talking enough about touring cars, just watch ITC when it turns up.
Pretty much, yes.
Not long from now is the Community Choice Series. Now, the choices for that are going to be published soon, and people in the GPVWC community can vote on which they want to race, and we're hoping to get that done, I think, in the soon time, because, well, choices matter, but obviously, that's going to be interesting, because it's the first series of its kind where the community actually vote on what they want to choose.
Well, that's one way to involve the community into the racing they're experiencing.
Yeah, a brand new initiative that we've introduced in the GPVWC to get the community involved in series, give them a say in what they want to race.
Asma surely puts in another low 18 lap while Pushka just cannot keep up. 1.3 seconds difference this lap.
Yeah, Philip Pushka is he's at a 119.8 there, and Mashuli 118.3 to Pushka's 119.8, and Ben Ellis goes fastest first sector. He's just too quick for Philip Pushka.
That is amazingly quick. The first sector alone, again, about half, actually quite exactly half a second between them too. This is the difference between not just the tires, but the drivers as well.
Well, he's just Philip Pushka can hope that he has the gap come the pit stop, but it's not looking likely. That's the thing.
It's already for over 5 seconds.
He can hope, but it's not looking as likely as we would like. Although Eros Mashudi looking to get some potential DRS going, if he can catch up quick enough up to this Hawkeye, and might be able to increase the gap even more, because I don't see backmarker for Philip Pushka.
It's going to be the first DRS zone for him at the very least, so that's a bit of a help.
Yep, and he is going to get that. Going to get the DRS through here. If I were backmark, I'd be letting them through before this corner. But this is only going to help Eros, because, yep, goes through, and now may potentially not get the second DRS, but if he does, it's going to be even more of a bonus. Don't think he is going to get it, but no, he doesn't. So at least one DRS zone is going to help his lap time.
Yeah, it will definitely help a bit, although he could have lost a bit because of the back marker, and his first sector was not exactly very quick. It was 3/10 of his best one so far.
Yeah, well, such is life, as they say, and, well, it really is just starting to play in the waiting game, aren't we, to see if Eros pits in enough time for Philip to do the thing.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
And when I say do the thing, I mean take the lead.
Now, the question is if the tires are going to last long enough for at this rate for Eros. As the Metal Clone just goes, just spun quite a bit.
Good job, Menno. Although that has, I think that's let Hawkeye through as well. If Wookie Hooks tried to go to third and lap Menno. As he runs wide again, probably just let more people through. Oh, being informed by Mr. Rob Mason, our camera person, that Emmanuel Gaxella is catching Florian Gaia quite quickly.
Gaia is on the soft tire. That's probably why.
Yeah, that's probably why. Sector times, Gaxella half a second up in sector 1. Then almost half a second plus up in sector 2. I'm going to assume he'll be up again by half a second in sector 3, and he is. So 1.5 seconds faster almost than Gaia that lap. This is the battle for P5. So here we go then, Gaxella versus Gaia.
And here we go, DRS.
DRS activated for the Romanian. Gets the DRS. He's going to go down the outside. Gaia can't react in time. Emmanuel Gaxella's got the advantageous line going into the hairpin. Brakes nice and early. And it's game, set, and match. Well done,
Very easily
Emmanuel
done.
into P5.
Very good place. What is a bit disappointing is that only 10 drivers are on a lead lap at the moment, but it is a short lap, so that's probably to be expected.
Well, it's not the quickest lap in the world, it's the longest lap in the world. You are right. And, well, with about, of those laps we have, I think we're on lap 53 now, so only about
52
to go.
Or actually, yes, 53, sorry.
It is lap 53, 52 completed, and almost over, but still a way to go. That almost sounds like a pop song.
Yeah, the pace of Masciuli and Pushka is starting to drop. It dropped by about a second already, but they're still a second apart from each other.
Well, the gap might be increasing, but Gaia is in the pits. This will maybe go on the Super Softs. So, David Friedrich is probably going to... Yep, he is already through on Gaia. Gaia onto the Super Softs. David Friedrich on the Super Softs as well. And Gagzella starting to pull away from Gaia because Gaia is pitted.
Now, the question is, when is Eros going to pit in? Because he's starting to lose space in those tires. And as we've seen, the actual soft compounds still are able to do low 19s. So it is actually maybe not a bad idea to pit in fairly soon.
Well, we'll have to see through these lap times that are going to come in now what the lap times are and whether it would be beneficial. Pushka's last lap was a 20.1, by the way, so there is still a bit of tyre difference in it. Eros crosses the line and does a 19.62, whereas Philip Pushka on the softs is, I think, just done a 119. Yeah,
0.9.
There's only 2 tenths in it.
Yeah, it seems like it's starting to drop off for Eros, although he's now back onto pace into the first sector, so...
Yeah, I mean, I think Philip's last lap, he was 5 kilometers an hour faster at the fastest point. So,
as Columbus pits.
Mendoga's Columbus in as well for Vodbull. David Friedrich should gain a place through this. May not have won the race as I predicted, but he's going to get a solid P5 at this rate. Through being Mr. Consistency is more traffic for Eros Masciuli, which means more chances for catching up for Philip Pushka. Pushka was only 4 tenths down in that first sector.
That is quite, to be honest, this is quite intense because anything can still happen with that whole tire strategy differences.
Yeah, he's 4 tenths down in sector 2 as well. So Eros only gaining about a second a lap rather than 1.5.
Yeah, I think that's where it's going to settle for now until the tire change for Eros. It's going to be about 0.7
Eros
to
does
the second.
24.784 through sector 3. What does Philip Pushka do? He's going to cross the line. He's got the pit in on his car for some reason. Why has he done that? Why has he got the pit in on his car? He's 0.5 down.
Wow, that was
Philip can't be planning on pitting, can he?
He could actually be thinking of maybe getting the super soft tires and going to the end because he knows he can get more pace out of them.
Yeah, but he's not going to catch Eros.
Yeah, but I don't think he is feeling like he will be able to catch Eros either way. And he thinks he maybe
Columbus is on the softs now, so that will be his last stop confirmed by Mike Pittman. But I'm intrigued as to what Eros is thinking here, or what even Pushka's thinking. A pit stop now wouldn't be logical because it would drop behind Francesconi.
Actually, I do think it is logical because he is losing so much time that either way, Eros is going to overtake him on new soft tires. So what he's hoping for is to do the exact same to Eros as Eros did to him, which is basically be a second lap faster and possibly win at the very end.
Yeah, but he's already 11 seconds down, and that's not going to change if he pits. Which he indeed has
He is
done.
pitting.
So I'm confused by Philip Pushka's strategy here, but he's pitted in. Michael Francesconi will go into P3, and this will make it an Adonis 1-2, at least for now.
As Eros is still doing absolutely immense lap times. Last lap was again 118.5.
I am absolutely confused by Philip's strategy here. I don't know what he's thinking, but he's come out again on the Super Softs, and he's now dropped a position to Francesconi. May just have gifted Adonis a 1-2.
I think Francesconi may still have to go to pits for soft tires, is he? Or did he already take them?
Oh, apparently I can't do 27 laps on the softs from Mike Pittman, which is what would have had to happen. So he has had to pit here, even though Eros has to pit. The gap to Pushka is now 27 seconds, so the worst that would happen is that Michael Francesconi takes the win.
Did Francesconi already take the soft tires?
I think he might have, but I'm not sure. But either which way, this might have just saved Eros Masciuli.
I think, though, at this rate, because Eros is pulling away just as much away from Francesconi as he was from Pushka, there's just no way that he's going to to lose the win if he just keeps it going like this.
He's 28 seconds ahead of Philip, so even if he were to pit, he'd come out 8 seconds ahead. So that pit stop may just have gifted the win to Adonis Engineering in this case, or a 1-2 as well. Which, well, given with there's 10 laps to go, that might have proved conclusive.
Now the only question is when Eros is going to pit in. At the moment, his tires still have pace, so possibly in a few laps, possibly only for the last 4 or 5 laps.
Well, we might just have to see what's going on regarding this. Philip Puska's first sector. Right. I think I see the logic now. Philip Puska has just done a faster first sector than Masciuli and Francesconi. There you go. And his personal best first sector.
Yeah, basically the idea is right now he's going to be doing better laps,
Right.
and he had to pit anyway.
The problem is he's got to gain 12 seconds on Masciuli now. So this is going to be a bit difficult either way, but he's starting to close the gap. The question is, can he close it quick enough?
I doubt it if Pushka not.
Wow. Now he's just done 6 times quicker than Masciuli in sector 2 as well. So I see the logic now. Michael Francesconi pits. This will probably get Philip Puska back into P2. But now it's going to be a case of chase that Eros.
As Eros, I would be pitting in soon enough for the soft tires. I think he's starting to lose pace at a big.
Oh, you know what? I see the logic now. Puska just set the fastest lap of the race. 18 dead, 0.055.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's just new tires, such a like.
1.3 faster than Masciuli. But with 10 laps to go. Him on the slower tyre and having to pit, is that going to conclude being enough time for Philip Puska to pull back an amazing win?
We're going to have to wait again. We're going to have to see the pace of Masciuli on the soft tire. That's going to be the deciding factor, I
think Philip is definitely the faster car at the moment. That much cannot be doubted. I tell you who else has just gone fastest. David Fiden. First 17 of the race, a 17.9.
That's very, very quick from a person who seemed to be very underwhelming this race. But he is, of course, our championship leader.
Certainly consistent and has gone and got the fastest lap so far. And David Fiden went 1.2 faster than Eros that last lap.
He is our championship leader for a reason.
I meant Puska did. Puska is the reigning drivers' champion for a reason, yes.
And
he's
Fidok is the leader,
not
yes.
Get any DRS going here, but as long as he gains some time on Eros per lap, you think he has to gain 10 seconds though. So as soon as Eros gets on those new tyres, he's going to stop losing time, but he hasn't pitted. But he puts the pit notification on now, so now he's going to be time for Eros. I think he's just reacting to the inevitable here, but he's going to be on the slower tyre after this.
Yes, but I think with the pace he has shown so far, he is maybe going to be able to pull away a bit, or at least try to keep maybe the difference between the two at about half a second.
I think this is going to go down to the last lap, this one, to be honest with you. Eros Masciuli is going to lose a bit of time per lap on that slower tyre. He's going to have to pit in. Philip Puska knows it. He may have pulled this off perfectly as Eros doesn't pit.
Interesting choice.
So he's going to lose even more time. So now it's going to be a case of Philip Puska just has to keep reeling him in until he pits. And he's cancelled it and redone it. So maybe he just didn't get the line right. But either which way, Philip Puska was faster in Sector 1, faster in Sector 2 that last lap. And then we don't know how quick he's going to be in Sector 3, but Eros is a lap, half a second down on what Philip Puska's first sector was on the previous lap.
Must have just made a bit of a mistake coming out of the corner right before Parabolica, so...
All Philip has to do is just keep going at the moment, you'd think.
And
he's just gone 6/10 quicker in that first sector. He's doing to Eros what Eros did to him in pulling the gap right in or right out. Increases for P4 for Florian Gaia in overall lap time and Whoopke Hoogstraat. That's his personal best.
Actually, Fidok is going very, very quickly still. Just had the best
Yes.
first sector.
Yes, hang on to your seats, ladies and gentlemen. Eros Mashuli
Aerosmiths.
pits. This is about to get fruity. I don't think he's going to take the lead, but Eros Mashuli, with 7 laps to go, has to take the soft tyres this stop. He'll be about a second or so on tyre, I think, down, but this is Eros we're talking about. Will lose time on these soft tyres. Philip Pushka knows that he will have an advantage. He might just reel him in for a last lap classic.
This is going to be a fascinating end to the race.
Yeah, Philip Pushka's even going to get DRS going down into turn 2.
There's still quite a bit of distance, but again, Eros is on a slower tyre now.
Eros is actually on the back foot in this sense. The gap between the two of them has gone from what it was before the pits to just 3.8 seconds.
Those few very quick laps from Pushka have very much improved his position, and I think what I've seen...
he's got 7 laps to do 40 seconds. I think that's about half a second a lap. Not much of an ask for the German.
I think what I've seen from Eros was going a bit too slowly through the pits and too lazily on getting away, etc., etc. So possibly that was also a factor in the loss of time.
Yeah, indeed. This second sector, I think, will be the first battella of how quick the two are.
2/10.
Pushka's 2/10 up. That is the first proper teller, because the first sector, Mashini was coming out of the pits. Those tyres will still be cold, mind, but there's not a lot of grip in them. Or at least not as much grip as the super softs.
Now I wonder...
As Mashiri crosses the line. 24.8 in the last sector. Pushka in the last sector is a 24.9. So Eros was actually quicker.
Eros is so very quick. The tires are new, so I'm not actually that surprised, considering Pushka has been on those tires for a couple laps already.
Yep, and we'll have to see what happens from here. But if Eros can actually pull this off,
they're
it
even
might have been,
in the first
Pushka
sector.
had to pit because the softs wouldn't have lasted that long. But nonetheless, Eros is got to do this.
I think Eros is actually going to be doing 18s on these tires, which Philip just was not able to do.
Yeah, I mean, he is very quick, is Mashuli, but we'll have to see whether he can do this or not. Those soft tyres are not the best in the world, but they are matched in Sector 1. Let's see how they fare through Sector 2. Mashuli does a 36.3.
That's very quick.
Pushka does a 36.2. So he's
1/10 of a second.
But that's not enough of a gain.
No, Mashuli can just keep this up, and if Pushka's tires are going to start going off very quickly from here on, it's very possible for Eros to actually take this.
Well, apparently not possible to do the amount of laps required on the soft, so didn't really have much choice, and it hasn't gifted Mashuli the pit stop in that sense, and it was always going to happen. Mashuli even quicker in the last sector, so I think it's
only
pretty
1/10
much,
down.
unless he makes a mistake, it's his to lose.
Yeah, 1/10 down on the entire lap. I think he may just have it.
He might just have it. There you go. Looking likely then, with about 5 laps to go, that Eros Mashuli will win this.
He's going faster in the first sector, again, 0.06 of a second faster than Philip. So he is extremely quick. And
The odds-on favourite to win then, Mashuli, with this pace that he's found, and the championship ramifications for that. I'm trying to load the standings up so I can do that. But the championship ramifications for a Mashuli win... Oh, excuse me, I'm getting the hiccups now. Championship ramifications for a Mashuli win here at Germany will mean that he closes in on David Feidick in the driver's standings, of course, because Feidick is behind him. But as soon as I load the standings up, I can tell you how much by.
I'll tell you something interesting. Adonis is going to be back in the lead.
Of the Teams Championship.
Of the Teams Championship, easily.
Yeah, they are going to 4 points in it total, and with Gaia in P4 and Feidick P6, it's not going to be enough to overhaul a 1-3 from Adonis. They are going to retake the lead of the Teams Championship. But the gap between Feidick and Mashuli is 24 points, so he won't beat Feidick in the Teams Drivers Championship just yet, but he will close the gap down. And that's important because 6 points on offer for 10th place and 25 to win. He'll close in by 15 points and bring it down to just 9.
That's going to get exciting once again.
And consider this, Eros Mashudi wasn't even present in the first round.
Yeah, impressive. Very much so.
So on merit, he seems to be the quicker driver this season, but nonetheless, he just has to keep it going.
Yeah, the last race he had was very disappointing and he lost quite a bit of points, but this race he is definitely pulling that back and he's going for his third win of the season. Is he going to be the first driver to have 3 wins?
I think he will do, you know. I think he will be the first to take 3 wins. He's already had 2 this season, as is Rudy Van Buren, who doesn't race anymore, unfortunately. Friday has had 1. Frederick Pushka has had 1. As has Michael Francesconi. As has, well, Emmanuel Agdela both on 1 win. But Mashudi could be the first to take 3.
No, I say that, but now Mashudi is starting to lose half a second a lap.
Oh, yes, he is, but with only about, I think we're on lap 65, 67. There's only like 3 laps off for 2 laps to go. Unless he drops 2.5 seconds in those 2 laps. Mind you, Pushka was only 0.8 faster out of that, so I think he'll hold it, but it'll be closer than we think.
It'll be very, very close. I think there may just about be an attempt at a last-ditch attack in the DRS zone in the last lap.
Yeah, the gap 2.2 seconds at the last split. I think it'll be 2.2 with this as well. But Pushka 3/10 quicker in Sector 1. He's found speed, and Eros has lost speed.
Yeah, Pushka last lap of 1:18.2, which is incredibly quick.
He has found something here, hasn't he, Philip? As the gap in Sector 2 has just come down half a second. It's getting close.
No. This is
and
going
a personal best second sector for Pushka.
This is going to be very, very, very close. And now,
hold on to your seat.
Is he going to be able to take it on DRS? Is he going to be able to do it?
I think he's going to be a bit too far out for DRS, but the gap at the start finish from 1.7, 1.2, it's come down another half a second.
You know what? I think you may just get DRS.
Yeah, 1.3 seconds a lap in it, and there was 65 done, 66 left. They are on lap 66 of 67. Philip Pushka could pull it out of the bag with a strategy that I doubted, and he's got DRS. I think he knows more than me about Super League, Philip Pushka. Get him as lead commentator. Look at how close it is now. He's just pulled it out of the bag as the reigning Drivers' Champion. And this is going to change things because it's probably going to reduce the amount of points that Adonis gain in the Teams Championship. May not be enough to stop them from taking over the Teams Championship from Nordstrom, but nonetheless, Philip Pushka could be going for the lead here.
Look at this. He's going to be trying to move into Mobile 1? No.
Oh, tries to sell him in the dummy in a Mobile 1. Doesn't work. If Pushka can get this win, then he will move on to 136 points. And, well, he'll be 10 behind Mashudi in the championship hunt.
And then we're going to have we're going to have 5 more points between Mashudi and Fido than we were calculating earlier.
You know what I said? This would be a last lap thriller. It is a last lap.
It looks like
we're on the last lap, and there's 2 tenths in it. That's how close it is. Philip Pushka knows it's do or die. He slips it into there, but Eros Mashudi's going to get DRS, you know, because there's a car now ahead of him.
What a lucky last lap.
Eros Mashudi's bacon.
What a lucky last lap, but Pushka is still coming close.
He's still closing in, but I don't think he's closing quick enough. He's got to break late and he's got to try something. Tries to go around the outside, but he's not fooling Eros. But he's got to keep close. This is going to be a thriller for sure between these two. Nowhere to go. Pushka knows he's got to try something somewhere.
Pushka goes wide.
And breaks into this corner. Here he's got it. Philip Pushka goes through to the lead. Had to run wide to get it, unfortunately. But he is in the lead.
Now,
whether he will keep that or whether DC'll do anything is not for me to decide. The race isn't even over yet. But Eros Mashuli may just have lost the lead.
That moment was a bit... I did not like how he ran wide and used that to his advantage. I do not like that kind of racing, but that's me.
Well, we'll have to see whether or not the DC act on that. But as far as I'm concerned, Philip Pushka has done it on the last lap of the race. Wins his home Grand Prix ahead of Eros Mashuli in P2, who narrowly misses out on making it 3 wins in the season. Hard luck to Eros, but it is provisionally at least going to be an Adonis 2-3, which they can take away from this race. And what a 2-3 it has been. Michael Francesconi comes round and makes it set 2-3. Florian Geyer and Emmanuel Gagzella battling until the last lap, but it's going to be the German ahead of the Romanian for P5. David Fidek, Mr. Consistency, is going to come home in P6 for a solid finish for Nordstrom Racing. Then it's going to be the Beeman Dorgus Columbus impressing once again, now driving for Vodball Racing. P7 for the Lithuanian. Then Lewis Redshaw will come home in P8. We've already seen Sven de Vries and McNaughton finish 9th and 10th. Gergo Baldi looking at PP11. Fran Lopez has finished 12th. Whoopke Hooks with 13th. David Esmizdulas 14th. Ben Willis is on course to score a point for Green Stripes Racing, which is always a good thing. And I think he's going to, because most of the people have finished. So that will round that off. And Pushka has won at the last possible moment.
That was an exciting last lap for sure. That I can tell you now. But
the circumstances of it might be a bit dubious, but it's not my job to commentate on that. Well, for all I know, he is the race winner. And, well, for taking it in such a last lap thriller, it's, well, you got us very excited there, Philip. I'll say that. I'm just going to have a look at what happened. Coming through the long right, he just ran a bit wide, got all four wheels off the track, and then he came in and took the position. I think it was a bit of contact with Mashudi as well, so controversial circumstances.
That is not what you want to see on the last lap, but then again, we will have to see how that goes, and I guess that will come out soon enough before the next round.
Yeah, ultimately, it's not our job to say who is or is not possibly going to take positions, but we can only commentate on what we see. So that rounds that off then. We've got Pushka, Mashuli, Francesconi, Gaia, Gagzella are our top 5 in this. And, well, I don't see Philip Pushka in the team speak with us, nor do I see either of the Adonis boys. So for now, I am going to very casually bring in a couple of people. I'm going to start...
Too safe, though.
Oh, sorry, I think I might have caught you mid-conversation there. I'm going to bring in a set Mr. Florian Gaia.
Hello.
So, P5 for you in the end, Flo. Good race. Sorry, P4 even. Understating your achievements. Sorry about that. P4 for you. Great results for the team. I think in all this, Adonis are going to overtake you in the team's championship, but fourth is still a very solid race. Just talk us through how it went.
Yeah. First of all, qualifying. It was a good lap, but not what I hoped for. I could have maybe got P2 or P3 because I was up in sector 2 on the pole time, so who knows. Start was decent. I got ahead of Dave, and then just followed the guys ahead. I think I had Emmanuel right behind me. Had pretty good tire wear on the first stint, but after that it all went downhill. I couldn't keep up with the leaders. They were just too quick today. What else? I made the switch to softs on my third stop because I wanted the super soft on the last stint, and I think this was what saved me against Emmanuel in the end. We might have lost the lead today, but in the end it's where it matters, where we stand, and we try being P1 by that.
Well, I'm sure the charge for P1 in the team's championship will continue for you, Nordstrom boys. Well done on the P4. Speaking of Nordstrom, we go from one to another, and David Fidek.
All right.
Well, for starters, you will retain your Drivers' Championship lead after all this. Eros and Philip did not do enough to catch you. So, in that sense, you will indeed be leading the Drivers' Championship coming out of this race, which is always a bonus, and a P6 to boot.
Yeah, extremely poor, but did what I could to stay as high as I could and stay out of trouble. It was basically the same as Russia. On the warm-up lap, I got loads of lag, and the feedback started messing around lap 20-ish, and then lap 30, the false feedback went all together, and I couldn't feel the tires, and just wearing quicker, slower pace because they were hotter. I was easily a second, 8 tenths to a second of what I could do, but yeah, Florian did well to keep the pressure on Michael and the podium places, but yeah, it wasn't to be. Got to find out why I'm getting these problems because that's twice this season and it's costing me big. So yeah.
Well, you do still need a Drivers' Championship coming out of it, and we're over halfway through the season now. Surely your confidence of taking a second driver's title must be up there.
Well, yeah, we've got the car to do it thanks to Will. He's throwing everything he can on the car at any chance he can. So we're going to have the car. There's more updates to come, car and engine-wise. You know, all of my bad tracks are out the way now. Budapest, Spa, Monza, tracks I love are all coming up. So, yeah, got to push on. Got to find a way to look after these tyres a bit more. But, yeah, as long as I sort the wheel out, it's possible. So, yeah, I'll be pushing, definitely, you know. Like today, you know, fell back a bit with pace because of the wheel, but played the consistency game, didn't get any battles I didn't need to, just let people through, and then came back strong at the end of the race when I had better tyres. So keep that up rest of the season, see how it goes, and it might be possible.
Well, best of luck to you regardless in that sense. And I'm just trying to see if I can get one more person in for an interview. But it's been a good race though, hasn't it, Kacper?
Yeah, it was very fascinating. There was a lot of action here, but there were also some a bit more boring parts to it, but it was mostly just between the pit stops. And we just had those, mostly the kind of overlap areas we had very interesting, but then the last couple stints were just immense.
Yeah, I mean, the end of the race had my absolute self on, well, I was trying to watch myself and make sure I didn't pass out from exhaustion. I got that excited. Nonetheless, oh sweet, I think we are actually going to get the drivers' champion, Philip Pushka, and race winner in here. So we're going to ask him all about his race.
Perfect.
Awesome. So we are going to get him. We're going to hang out for it until he does turn up.
We loved you enough to come in straight away.
Yeah, I'm sure he does love enough to. There was enough, but I think we are going to get him now. He's just popped into the TeamSpeak area, and hopefully we should be able to interview him very, very soon. And would be nice if he just joins the wait here interview section, so I can drag him in. But we are waiting on the Pushka, so as the song does not go, we're waiting for Philip. That's what we do. We're not waiting any longer, though. We're not waiting any longer. Because here he is, the one and only drivers' champion and race winner, Philip Pushka.
Yeah.
Yep, we do have you with us. Firstly, congratulations on the win. We'll get to that in a bit. But obviously, you have had a great race here, and it's going to help with oddball in the team standings.
Yeah. Obviously, more points are better every time. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's been your home race as well, and winning it must mean quite a bit. I'm not usually one to shy away from the tough questions, but I'm going to ask the tough question this time. We did see your move on Eros towards the end of the race, and you did run a bit wide by the looks of it going into that turn. Do you think that's going to affect things in the end, or?
I don't know. As soon as I committed to the move, I had to go for it. You know, I was there. I was on the inside, and I thought there was enough space. And yeah, I mean, it did work out in the end. Obviously, it's up to decide to the DC to make a decision if he wants to protest, which I think he will. So yeah, I mean, I had to go for it. With I don't know 5, 6 laps to go, I realized he had a soft tire. So I already backed out of it, more or less. So yeah, probably a bit more special awareness next time. But yeah, the pace was, I think Eros was a bit faster, especially considering he was on the back of the grid, I think, or at least not at the front. So I knew it would be very, very difficult. And yeah, in the end I had the better tire, though I had no rubber left at all. Risked probably everything, could have crashed out easily in the last laps. But, I wanted to win, and yeah, I mean, there was quite a big gap behind, so I knew if I spun, there was a chance I still could have got second position. So yeah, as I said, I'm still a racer, so I had to go for the move. I wanted to win the race, so that's it, really.
Well, it's a learning experience nonetheless, and at least for now you have the win, and I'm more than happy to congratulate you on that, because you did do well deserve it for that move right at the end. It was a hard stop for me
Thanks.
personally. And just a really quick interview at the end, because, well, why not? It's Mr. Ben Willis.
Hey, hello.
I did say I was going to interview it if we didn't get anyone else, but I thought I'd interview really quickly anyway.
Oh,
Point for
thank you.
green stripes, which is always good things. Just give a quick summary of how your race went.
Yeah, it was alright. I mean, just got held up by Menno slightly at the start, but you know, I just sort of drove my race, tried to go through a free stop. You know, just saving a bit of fuel, trying to keep the front left alive, and then just got it to the end. And I'm not sure if I keep that 15th because I know Dewey had a little bit of a timing glitch at the end, so I'll wait and see. But regardless, it was good fun. You know, great to do another full race.
Yeah, I mean, I remember back in 2013 when we were racing each other, and now here you are in Superleague scoring points and me on the commentary. Couldn't have gone two different ways if we tried, but well done to you on your finish as well, Ben. Pleasure to have you in the booth, as
Cheers.
always. And that does round things off. So we've already talked to Kacper about how good a race it was. We don't need to do that again. But for emphasis, wasn't it a good race, Kacper?
Yeah, it was actually very fascinating. As I said, it was packed full of action, especially the last couple stints. Second half of the race was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, the second half really made it for me, to be honest. And it's a showcase of just how good Superleague is. And of course, if you want to be involved in the GPVWC, you can head over to the forums and sign up and see if you can get yourself involved as a driver or team manager. And well, we've got a lot of stuff coming up as well within the GPVWC. In the coming weeks, we have in a week's time, thereabouts 6 days, we have the Belgian Sports Series. I believe the final round or second to last round of the World Sports Series this year from the circuit of Spa-Francorchamps. So tune in for that because the title fight is coming to an end. And then it's Hungary week next week. We've got the Hungaro Ring for Formula Challenge Open Series Super League. And not long after that, the actual final round of the World Sports Series, the Italian Sports Series. And the day after that, the American GT Cup, in which Kacper has already won the Drivers' Championship, but won't be racing. So a guaranteed second winner of the season there. But until those days and weeks and months have passed, I've been Josh Randerson, and for me and everyone in the booth, we'll be sure to hopefully see you next time. Ciao!